There's that background again, Ray.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's because I set it as a default for any host and co-host, but it's like I can't make it
Yeah,
undefault for co-host, so it makes my life easier, but not so much for you.
that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. Okay.
Looks like my video's off. Let's.
Oh, there you are.
Can you
There you
see
are.
me and hear me? Okay.
I can see you. I can
Awesome.
see you. You know what? I need to change up the office in here a little bit. Maybe put up the green screen on the wall. I usually only use it for videos, but you know what? It would work with virtual background. So that would just look a little ostentatious, I think. So probably not a good idea.
We talked about getting a Epi compliance logo neon sign.
Do it. Yeah, do it.
Hey, I'm
Oh, that'd
not
be
I'm not
awesome.
opposed to it. I think it would be kind of cool. But for
Well,
now, we're working with this thing.
that's it. That's it. That's it. We should take a poll and see how many people like the
Yeah.
natural background versus the virtual background. That would be fun. Actually, hey, yeah, you know what? Everybody joining.
Hold on, here we go. I'm gonna do it right
Everybody
now.
joining right now. Get into chat. Let us know if you like the natural background, as you see here, kids running in the background, dog walking around, that whole thing, versus versus the virtual background. I would actually be curious. I'm gonna have to do a report on that because I'm a giant nerd. That's what I do.
I'm actually testing the poll stuff out right now. So guess
Oh,
what?
yeah.
We got enough in here to get some response. Why not?
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Hey, we're going to test a chat or a poll feature in here, guys. So humor us, see if this works. For those just joining, welcome. We
Let's
are
launch it.
playing around with some things as well. There it is: natural background or virtual background, single
I
choice.
didn't get the question mark, but y'all get the gist. Oh,
Oh, look at this! Look at this. We're getting some
fine.
feedback. I love it, guys. All right, 3 of 9 have participated so far. So far, virtual is a winner. Virtual is a winner.
Come on, we need some more
Oh
response.
man.
Come on,
Too
help us
good.
out.
I love it,
There we
man.
go. All right, I think virtual's running away with it.
Oh
Virtual's running.
man. All you
Sorry,
natural
Ken.
people
Sorry,
let me
Ken.
down. Oh my goodness gracious. Right in the gut. Okay. All right. I'm ending the poll before I get my
Yeah.
feelings hurt anymore. So well, you know what? You guys are gonna have to deal with it.
Hey, thanks for being the guinea pig because yeah, I've never tested the polls out. We're gonna have to start doing those a little more often.
Yeah, for sure. That's fun. Okay, cool. Well, listen, I have the questions up. There's three questions, right? So we've got those up. Um, we'll launch that. I guess we'll start that. Maybe we start that like
You-
maybe a minute before 1:35, 1:34. Kind of get it
yeah, that's
shared up
fine. We
and
can start
everything.
at yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if
Sounds
there's any
good.
issue sharing, yeah, you could take the screen from there. So it's not a big deal. But how have you been, man? Everything going okay
Yeah,
for
not
you?
too bad. It's well, you're over here in Fort, you're over here in Jacksonville as
I'm with
well,
you.
and
Yeah.
I know you have a daughter, and yeah, it's good. It's good trick or treating weather today, right?
Yeah. So I've got my 6-year-old and I've got my 1-year-old. 6-year-old is going as a cat,
I love it.
and my 1-year-old is going as a Dalmatian. Um,
Nice. It's
yeah,
good combo right there. We got cat
yeah.
dog,
You know.
dog
So
cat.
we're gonna won't be sleeping tonight. We're gonna stay here. I
Are
know
you
it. I
dressing
know
up?
it. Me? No, dude. I think the last time I dressed up as Gumby. Do you guys remember
Gumby.
Gumby?
That's a
Anybody remember
classic.
Gumby? I'm telling you, man. I had a
That's
big
a
Gumby
classic.
outfit, and yeah, it was good. I liked that costume because it covered my face, so people didn't
Yeah,
know
it
that I
was.
was actually doing this.
I love it.
I went as Gumby. Oh man, that was it. That was it. No, I didn't have his. What was his trusty sidekick's name? His horse.
What's the horse? The horse. What's his
Um,
name? I forget.
hey,
That's
anybody
been
in
a while.
chat
I know.
remember Gumby's horse's name? I'll give you $10 Amazon gift card. I can't. I'm serious. I cannot remember. I cannot remember
I
his
really
name.
can't
I
either.
could Google it, but I don't know. So if anybody
I
figures
know
it
he's
out, the first
red
person
in
to
color.
answer $10 Amazon gift card. I am not bluffing. A whole $10. But we'll figure it out. Anyways, it is coming up on that 1:34 time. I'm gonna go ahead and just try to share my screen real quick. We got an answer. Pokey, Shelly,
Ah,
$10 Amazon gift card coming your way. Don't hang up on the webinar. I need to get your email address and I will send that gift card to you. Shelly, oh, already got beat.
Pokey,
Shelly
that's
got it. But thank you in all caps. Pokey. Of course it's Pokey. I love it. Okay, cool. All right, well, let me go ahead and share my screen real quick.
Yep.
Let's make sure this works. Guys, today is kind of a mixture of everything OSHA and regulations. So stick with us through it today. But what we want to do is we want to just sort of reiterate some of the points that we made last week, or the last few weeks, honestly. So let me make sure that everybody can see my screen. Can everybody see the question in front of us? Ray, are you able to see that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to ask a few questions here and kind of get your feedback on the answers. In the chat box, just type A, B, C, or D, whichever one you feel like is the correct answer in there, and we'll go from there. So here we go. The first question we have is, hold on. Here we go. First question we have is, according to OSHA regulations, how long do new hires typically have to complete their training? Let me not butcher that time. According to OSHA regulations, how long do new hires typically have to complete their training? A, 5 days, B, 10 days, C, 15 days, or D, 30 business days. Go ahead and shoot your answers in there. Ray, you're going to have to monitor that Q&A or that chat, because
here we go.
It will mess up my double screen here.
All right, we got a couple answers in right now. How long do you want to give them?
Let's give 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds per. So 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. So what do we got?
The majority of the response is B. I got a couple C's, but obviously, go ahead. The answer is
answer is B.
Yes.
We have 10 days. Now, not business days, 10 days. 10 days to complete that new hire onboard training for OSHA regulations. All right, next question. What are the potential consequences of non-compliance with OSHA regulations? Again, what are the potential consequences of non-compliance with OSHA regulations? A, heavy fines. B, lawsuits. C, potential loss of business. D, all of the above. This one should be obvious. Got to put it in there. What are we looking at? I'm going to give you guys 6 seconds because that's so simple. Here we go.
Context clues. Come on.
All right, there we go. And the final answer is all of the above. D, all of the above. There we go. And moving on to the next one. Final question. As an owner or compliance officer, what proactive approach should you take to address potential issues before they become problematic? Again, as an owner or compliance officer, what proactive approach should you take to address potential issues before they become problematic? A, wait for the issues to arise on their own. B, address issues only when they become serious. C, anticipate issues and work to address them before they become a problem. Or D, hire more staff to handle issues when they occur. 10 seconds. Put your answers in, and we will give you the answer.
Hire more.
What's that?
Just hire more staff. That'll work. That'll do it.
That'll work. Just that nails it in there. That's right. Let's spend more money. Let's throw money at it. Let's see if that works.
Yeah.
And a few more seconds. There we go. Okay, good deal, guys. This goes along the lines of thinking proactively, and that is C, right? We want to anticipate issues and work to address them before they become a problem. I'm going to hand it over to you here in just a second, Ray, but I do want to reiterate on this point. I want to sit on this point a little bit. Again, it sounds like a silly question, right? When you see it, what should you do to address potential issues before they become problematic? Well, obviously you want to address them before they become a problem, right? That's the ultimate goal. But what you'll see is, and I'm going to have to go back and look at the percentage of this, but it's in the 80s. It's almost 90%, I think, of those businesses that are regulated, which really any registered business that is regulated, they're not following this. They are waiting for issues to arise on their own. Right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Does not apply here. So anticipate issues and work to address them before they become a problem. Ray, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'm going to quit running my trap. It is all you, brother man.
Yep, let me share my screen and let me know once you can see, and we'll go ahead and dive into the presentation today. Give me just a second here.
Mhm.
You got a visual?
I got a visual.
Sweet. All right, well, let's get going. So, good day, everyone. Thanks for joining us on another edition of our Compliance Step-by-Step webinars. My name is Ray Walters, and again, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Ken Wood, who is a local business owner here in Jacksonville, Florida. As always, we're here to help you step by step, keep your practice more compliant than yesterday by hosting these webinars, these quick 20-minute webinars to provide you education, create the awareness, and so on and so forth. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing specifically addressing the crucial aspects of safety precautions and essential practices to ensure safety in healthcare, as well as your practice. This subject, it's utmost importance in healthcare settings to protect both healthcare professionals and patients. We want to provide you insight, information, resources here to empower you with the knowledge to ultimately, and I mentioned this on the previous webinar as well, talking about the needle sticks, but ultimately fostering a culture of safety and compliance at your practice. So without further ado, let's get it going. So always mention this in each webinar, but just to give you a little bit of background information about us, Epi Compliance, we are a healthcare IT company. We've been established since 2013, led by healthcare professionals with a combined knowledge of 40 years plus experience in the healthcare regulatory space. Our programs are specifically designed to provide compliance training for healthcare organizations, healthcare students, and business associates as well. But that's not all. Epi Compliance also founded Epi Conferences, which is an in-person conference that we've been hosting, I believe, since 2015. But the main thing I wanted to mention out of these conferences is we provide not an online, soon to be online, but an in-person HIPAA security officer training program. Obviously, any student, any office manager, any compliance officers, heck, even business owners that are on this call, recommend looking into this this training. This is something that we are going to be offering here very soon online. This is if you're looking for a deep dive into HIPAA training, both HIPAA privacy and security. Again, it's not only about OSHA compliance here. You know, we do HIPAA compliance, we do Medicare compliance as well. When it comes down to the federal regulatory government, you know, as a healthcare organization, need to have those in place. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be sending you guys links as well. I posted the Epi Compliance website link, but just keep in mind, we'll be sending out these links at the end of the presentation. So without further ado, let's talk about today's objectives. We want to define medical and biohazardous waste substances. We want to talk about the importance of following label instructions and safety data sheets, SDS, formerly known as material safety data sheets, MSDS. We want to emphasize the role of personal protective equipment, PPE, ensuring employee safety. And we also want to talk about prioritizing the need for an effective training program to ensure compliance. So with these objectives in mind, let's go ahead and proceed. So medical and biohazardous waste. I've sort of I put a definition of each together. So medical waste is a subset of waste generated at healthcare facilities such as hospitals, physicians' offices, dental practices, as well as medical research facilities and laboratories. Some examples that I posted here include items like blood-soaked bandages, contaminated gloves and gowns, laboratory cultures, used needles, and expired medications. When it comes to biohazardous waste, this is a specific subset of biological waste, which includes any solid or liquid waste. I've added some examples here as well, included cultures of infectious microorganisms, pathological waste, sharps contaminated with blood, and items contaminated with bodily fluids, and then any other waste that may contain potentially infected agents. So I got a nice little image over here. Maybe those of you that work in a healthcare setting have seen some of these before, right? Obviously, let's talk about proper waste disposal techniques. So proper disposal techniques encompass, I've listed a couple common techniques here. Segregation, which is separating medical waste types at the source. Containerization, which is containers for different types of waste, whether it's sharps, bodily fluid, etc. Storage, which is securing waste in well-ventilated areas, closed off to public access. Disposal methods of disposal, incineration, autoclaving, chemical treatment to neutralize these pathogens. And then last but not least, and I think me and Ken mentioned this in every, maybe every presentation so far, but obviously keeping a record of, of waste generation and treatment of disposal. Again, when it comes down to the OSHA requirements, they always want to see you document everything. So again, maintaining records of waste generation, treatment, and disposal. Okay. So I have a story. I want to talk about it after this slide. Usually me and Ken will come up with a story to tell. This one, it's not so much personal, but it does deal with a customer of ours that we sort of help through this process. But anyways, I want to talk about on this slide exactly what are safety data sheets. Again, they used to be known, I think it was before 2012, they used to be called material safety data sheets. So yeah, slight name change. But again, what do these sheets represent? SDS sheets provide detailed information on chemical properties, ensuring safe handling, storage, and disposal of medical waste. It's important to note as well with these SDS sheets, again, formerly known as material safety data sheet. They sort of condensed in 2012. I can't remember the amount of pages that the material safety data sheets used to be, but apparently it used to be quite an extensive, almost like a book, But the safety data sheets, it's essentially they kind of compartmentalize into a 16 section format. Which is, again, when it comes down to these safety data sheets, it is a OSHA requirement. You're working in a medical practice, have to have these in place. And again, what do these safety data sheets sort of incur? They can be, where can they be obtained is where I'm going with this. Safety data sheets can be obtained from any chemical manufacturers, importers, distributors. If you guys are, and again, these safety data sheets, let's just say you guys are buying, Ken, give me a random chemical that you'd find in a medical practice. I was gonna, you know what? I got one. Hydrogen peroxide, right?
I was gonna say hydrogen peroxide. I was like, I don't know if you
that could be a
categorize
common
that as
one.
Oh
you're
no,
buying,
that sucks.
right? You're bulk
Come on.
ordering hydrogen peroxide. Generally speaking, if you're a healthcare organization, they will provide you with a safety data sheet on that particular chemical, et cetera. I do have a link. I'm going to actually post this in chat just a second. This is sort of the OSHA standard as well on these safety data sheets. I just wanted to provide that here for your guys' benefit. Kind of explains each of the sections of the, like I said, it's broken down to 16 sections. This is straight from the OSHA.gov site. Kind of explains, what each section entails, et cetera. And then that kind of goes into my next slide here. And again, I don't want to get super in depth. These are only 20-minute webinars, but this kind of breaks down each of the sections. So sections 1 through 8 sort of cover identification, hazards, ingredients, first aid, firefighting, spill response, handling, and exposure controls. Sections 9 through 11 include physical properties, stability, reactivity, and toxicological info, and then sections 12 through 16 address ecological concerns, disposal, proper disposal, transport regulations, and revision history. So just a quick story that I wanted to share. I mentioned this earlier. This is a requirement of OSHA to have these safety data sheets in place with any sort of chemicals that you guys are dealing with at the practice. There needs to be a safety data sheet for each of those chemicals. We did have a client, this might have been 4 or 5 years ago, did not keep these. And again, when it comes down to keeping these things up to date, they want to see that you're keeping these things up to date annually. In other words, we had a client that was inspected. They haven't updated their safety data sheet in some time. They got some new chemicals that they were using that were not on the safety data sheet. And when the inspector was obviously looking through the safety data sheet, hey, where's this chemical at? Right? I can't produce that. Great. So not a huge hit, obviously. The inspector ended up giving them some leeway to come up with this documentation. Epi Compliance was able to provide them safety data sheets, and again, a lot of these safety data sheets you can honestly find on the internet. You just search the chemical, type in safety data sheet behind it, boom, you'll be able to find that. But the main thing is keeping it up to date. That's where a lot of people fall short. Like I said, OSHA wants to see that you're keeping these things up to date annually. But long story short, very minuscule issue. We were able to provide them with those updated safety data sheets. And then again, when it comes down to these inspectors, they can give you some leeway. They gave them 2 weeks to produce that. So, and we jumped on it right away, obviously, but we provide that information. They presented that to the inspector. Inspector essentially wrote them off. And again, no fines were incurred or anything like that. But like I said, the moral here is just, if you have safety data sheets, make sure you keep them up to date, because that's what they want to see. So personal protective equipment, let's talk about that. Obviously, let's talk about its importance, right? That can't be overstated. We talked about this last week with the needle sticks as well, but when it comes to PPE, obviously you want to safeguard your healthcare workers from infectious materials, chemicals, and hazardous substances. Again, this is an OSHA requirement, right? Using PPE isn't just good practice, it is a requirement. And again, it ensures safety of your healthcare personnel. It's important. Again, I want to stress that the effective use of PPE depends on proper training and strict adherence to those guidelines. So again, you as the practice owner, as the compliance officer, establishing these trainings, these guidelines. Anything to add to that, Ken?
No, not at this point. I will kind of reiterate there, sort of when it does come to that PPE side. I don't know if you guys remember. I guess it was a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the gentleman that unfortunately had fallen into a trap. He didn't have his safety tether with him against his railing. That caused him to fall into the mesh making equipment and unfortunately kill him. I'm trying to come up with a more stronger word, because it was not good. But it is critical. There's a lot of things with this, and it's not that anybody on this call is going to have the same issue, and I don't want to put you in that category, but it is very easy to turn a blind eye to things that just sort of feel like, okay, we get it. We got to be safe. We got to be safe. But truly, and I mean this truly, it is dependent. It puts your business on the line. This whole thing that you built, you've created, or you're a part of. This is a very quick one-way shop to non-existence. So it's super important, even for stuff like this. That's why there's just a plethora of content on it and why we're doing these in the first place. But no, that's simply all I would add, is just the breadth of it, or the gravity of the situation, and how important it is to heed that. So yeah.
No, good points. Good points. And kind of transitions to my next slide, training, right? I mean, that's ultimately what this stuff comes down to. training your employees how to use PPE, training them how to, deal with medical waste and disposal. And again, these are things that OSHA requires, right? They require this training of your employees. I know we went through this in the trivia this morning, which I think we should do more often. For those of you that weren't here about 5 minutes earlier for this presentation, we had a trivia and just questions that we asked from previous webinars, just to see, just to gauge. I know we have some attendees in here that have been with us since the beginning. But one of the questions we asked is, when it comes down to your employees and training, you know, um, how often do they need to be trained, and what's the time frame on new hires in terms of, once you're hired on with an organization, what's the time frame that you have to complete the OSHA training? The answer is 10 days, is what the OSHA government requires. So again, can't stress that enough. Training is important, it's imperative. Um, and like I said, we have some solutions to help out with this as well. Um, but before we talk about that, let's just kind of recap on everything that we've talked about here. Obviously, we want to implement the following, you know, uh, proper disposal techniques, again, containerization, incineration, etc. We've talked about safety data sheets and MSDS sheets. Again, these solutions here encompass proper disposal techniques, effective utilization of personal protective equipment, and then obviously annual educational training for your staff. And then mentioned this earlier, but ultimately it comes down to you and your safety team establishing a culture of safety in a healthcare organization. And really, the summary there is, hold each other accountable, and and effective training. Anything to add to that, Ken?
Yeah, yes, actually I do. Guys, for those in attendance that may not have been here for the first couple of, I don't want to say episodes because it's not what it is, first couple of webinars, I will hit on this. My background is in training. Specifically, it's in data training and analytics with a company called Pragmatic Works. I did that for almost a decade. And training now has sort of this connotation with it of being a dime a dozen kind of thing. And truthfully, there's a lot out there that would beg that to be true, right? That would beckon, I guess you'd say, that to be the case. But when it comes to this, it is, I'm trying to find the right word. It is just incredibly, incredibly important. And what's the most, I think, important part of this is not to get caught up in the convoluted mess. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. Keeping it simple, and that's really what happens here, is sort of release that stress of going, okay, what do I need to know? There's a paragraphs of stuff I have to go through. There's this regulation. There's this all. What's happening here is we're trying to break it down, simplify it, make it easy to consume so that you can kind of get going on with the stuff that you already have. And that's your business. It requires your utmost attention. And let the regulations and everything that is required be one of those things that's fed to you in a far simpler manner. And that's a big key, a big component of this. We're looking at training and all of this stuff as an industry that's growing, yada, yada, yada. That's great. But what does it mean for you as the consumer, and how does it help your business, and how is that valuable? You guys will find that. Especially when it comes to this sort of stuff, right? Because the fact is, it's very vanilla, right? It feels that way. But it's one of those things that has to be consumed, has to be adopted, so that you're able to push forward making creating the business and the opportunity that you have to create long term. So, but yeah, that I would want to hit on that, and I'll leave it there.
Training is not just a box to tick, right?
Right.
It's a fundamental aspect of ensuring safety and of healthcare and patients. So having said that, again, this is something that we can 100% help you guys out with. And again, we mention this at the end of every presentation. If you're eager to further your knowledge and advance your career in healthcare compliance, we do have some opportunities here. First and foremost, listen, if you haven't taken your OSHA training this year, highly recommend doing it. Every topic that we cover or that we've covered thus far, needle stick safety, electrical safety, monthly test check record of emergency lights, fire extinguishers, obviously essential safety precautions. These are all covered in our free OSHA course. Again, I'm going to be providing a link, but I will send it here in chat as well. Just give me a quick second. Again, we offer free OSHA course. Again, there's no gimmicks here. You go to our EpiCourses site, you can register for the free OSHA training. It consists of a lecture, a test. At the end, you get a downloadable PDF certificate of completion. It's going to have your first and last name on it. If you guys are looking for, additional opportunities or additional training, our Epi Compliance site, we do offer a training bundle there. In other words, if you're looking for more than just OSHA, our training bundle includes OSHA, but also includes HIPAA privacy, HIPAA security, and Medicare waste, fraud, and abuse training. Again, I'm going to post a link here as well to our site.
Hey, Ray, let me tell you something. So we had
Yeah.
a couple of members so far in the Q&A portion of this.
Sure.
They just can't, the chat is just disabled. They can't view it. So what we want to do is if we could send these, in fact, let me just put those links right now in the Q&A portion of this. Every single one that you shared, I'll put in there right now. And yeah, I just want to kind of give you a heads up on that, let you know that that's
fine.
kind of occurring.
I'm going to look into the chat issue. It's weird because we have some that can and some that can't, apparently.
Yeah.
Excuse the excuse our manner. We're going to try and figure that out, but we'll certainly get back to you on the on that reasoning, and we got everybody's chat here, so we'll reach out individually for that. Okay.
Yep, for sure.
And then one last thing as well. Again, if I mentioned the free OSHA training, mention our training bundle. Listen, if you guys are essentially unsure what you're looking for or sort of need some guidance in the compliance space, we're absolutely here to help you out. We do offer free consultations. I'm sorry for those that are not receiving chats, but what we will be doing is we'll be reaching out via email, via phone call. The email will include a link to schedule a consultation. If you're a healthcare business, etc., student, healthcare worker, business owner, anything, looking for some guidance, schedule a 30-minute consult with us. We'd be glad to help you. Other than that, that's essentially the end of today's presentation. We'll open it up for just a quick Q&A. Obviously, went a little over today, but hey, that's okay. I don't think we've quite hit it yet, but hey, that's not a big deal. We still got everybody in the room, so not an issue.
Good. And I do want to say something here, Shelly. That gift card is headed your way. So done before the webinar was even over. She's got the $10 Amazon gift card. Thank you. By the way, it was Pokey. Pokey was the horse's name in Gumby. That was my Saturday morning guilty rerun pleasure growing up. So yeah, good deal.
I still have the VHS tape, so I might have to.
Yeah, those are good times. Good times. Well, hey, we do have a couple of questions here, man. I'll spit it at you. Number one, why is it essential to replace MSDS with SDS in the workplace?
I mentioned this earlier. So MSDS used to be sort of a elongated version of the SDS. So OSHA, I think they updated in 2012, just made it a small 16 section format. It's easier to read for the employees, etc. Yeah. Like I said, it used to be almost like a book going through. And obviously, as an employee, if God forbid something happens, you need to access a safety data sheet. You're sitting there going through the book. Where do I go? Right?
Yeah.
So they kind of shorten it up. It's more detailed. Again, list out all the information, chemical properties. It's promoting safer handling, storage, disposal of hazardous substances.
Okay, good deal. And we have two more questions. Second question, what resources are available for individuals looking to advance their knowledge in OSHA for healthcare and compliance? So this is going to be a softball question for you.
Well, we kind of already talked about that, but I'll reiterate. Again, we offer a plethora of services, but I mentioned earlier, if you're simply just looking for OSHA training, as I mentioned, has to be done within 10 days. If you're a new hire at an organization, has to be done within 10 days. We have a free resource for that, epicourses.com. Again, you can register for your free OSHA course there. I'll reiterate again, we have a training bundle. If you're looking for something more inclusive, includes OSHA, but also includes HIPAA and Medicare compliance. We have a training bundle as well. It's a paid service, but includes 4 courses in total: OSHA for healthcare, HIPAA privacy, HIPAA security, and Medicare waste, fraud, and abuse. Actually, I think I might have skipped this earlier, but if you're looking for something that's all inclusive to your organization, and what I mean by that is something just your one-stop shop for all your compliance needs, we do have a pro package. Essentially offers that training piece, but it also includes some other important aspects in healthcare compliance, including policies, procedures, business associate agreements, and we also provide you with updated task. So that's our pro package, but I think that answers that question.
Good. And we have one more, and I think this question may require a little more digging, but it was actually shared publicly by Eliza. Says, for nurses, what is the crucial information that we surely need for work? That might require a little more digging, but I'll hand it over to you. For nurses, what is the crucial information that we surely need for work?
That's we'll have to do some digging, but I mean, just based off that question alone, I mean, training, training. I was going to say there's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But I would say training is definitely one of those things, and obviously training on how to properly use PPE. If you were here for our presentation last week as well, we talked about the needle stick stuff, and the nurse that left the room unattended, that type of deal.
Exactly. Exactly. In fact, Eliza, Eliza, I'm hoping I'm getting that correctly. It could be Eliza. If you can get with us at the end of this, we'll send an email out, or just let us know. We can kind of expound on that for you a little bit, because when it does come to nursing, that's going to be a lot of stuff, as you'd imagine. So there's going to be quite a bit there that's going to be critical and crucial, as we put it here. But as he just mentioned, we're talking about needles, PPE. A lot of that that we just discussed over the last couple of weeks is going to be very pertinent, crucial, if you will, as you state.
I would say take the free OSHA course. That'll sort of give you that'll certainly open some eyes, right? And like I said, as a nurse, have to have OSHA training. Definitely recommend taking a look at that resource. And like I said, we'll certainly be reaching out to you, Eliza. Everybody's going to get an email with those links as well. Other than that, hey, I appreciate everybody being on this call. We went a little over today, but again, appreciate you hanging out with us. We have one more OSHA topic that we're going to be talking next Tuesday, same time, 1:35 to 1:55 p.m. This topic, we are going to dive into mastering evacuation procedures. So stay tuned for that. We're excited. After that, we are going to be getting into the HIPAA game. So for those compliance officers that might be on this call now, your ears might be poking up. We're going to be getting to some of the HIPAA topics here soon. So again, appreciate your guys' time, and we will see you on the next webinar here next Tuesday. That'll be
the 7th.
The 7th.
It'll be the same day as my training workshop, so I'll be a busy guy. This will be fun.
It'll be fun. Well, hey, you guys have a good rest of your day. Hey, and a good Halloween. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right, guys. See ya.
Sunshine.